Responsibly. This message has been authorized by the BCLB.
Happy new month. You're right on time for K24's New Dawn. My name is Joel Chasha. Even as today we focus on the grim economic outlook. But remember, right here on K24, we will be bringing you a wall-to-wall coverage as far as the Cabinet Secretary's vetting is concerned. That is live from the Parliament buildings for 4 days running. That is on today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That is from 8 a.m. You can't afford to miss that. But today, we focus on the grim economic outlook. This is after the Court of Appeal nullified the Finance Act of 2023. Remember, Finance Act 2024, President William Ruto withdrew it on grounds that there was public pressure, indeed, which was there, and street demonstrations were staged by young or youthful Kenyans, and that caused the president to refuse to sign the Finance Bill of 2024, which has since been withdrawn. That meant we relied on the Finance Act of 2023, which introduced, among others, 16% VAT on fuel. Now that is not there, we'll have to bank on the Finance Act of 2022, which falls under the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's government. However, for those who are asking about the housing levy, it will still be there, the 1.5% deductions. This is because during the Finance Act of 2023, it was declared unconstitutional, but the Parliament went ahead and passed the Affordable Housing Bill, which was signed into law and became the Affordable Housing Act of 2024. So for the housing levy, that will still remain. However, President William Ruto-led government having to bank on the Finance Act of 2022 basically means the revenue mobilization strategy, which he had envisioned, has failed. Shortly after he withdrew the Finance Bill of 2024, it forced him to, slash by half the amount that was in the budget, that is the 2024-2025 budget, and as well borrow the rest. So this basically means with the 215 billion that the Kenya Kwanza government aimed to collect with the Finance Act of 2023, they have two options: either to borrow the entire amount of money or to slash the budget downwards by 215 billion Kenya shillings. That already has thrown the President William Ruto government into a financial crisis, and that is what we'll be dissecting this morning right here on K24 TV. On this panel, I'll be having very key guests and as well virtual links. In studio, I'll be joined by Honorable James Gakuya, who is the chair of the Trade Committee of the National Assembly, and as well Honorable Nabi Nabwera, who is a member of the Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly, also the Lugari legislator, and Dr. Kamau Mwangi, who is an economist. They will all be here in studio just to paint for us how things will look like moving forward. Virtually, we'll be joined by Ruth Kinyanjui, an economist, Honorable Dr. Babu Owino, who is a member of the Budget Committee, and as well Faith Odhiambo, Law Society of Kenya president, to expound on what the ruling by the Court of Appeal means, and also a reaction, or to give a rejoinder and a reaction that was given by the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, saying that whatever the courts did, it's more of judicial activism. And he said that must stop. But I invite you in this conversation via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Church, as well on our SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of our screens. And of course, I'll be sampling some of your feedback before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. But let's begin with what's in our dailies this morning, beginning with the Kenya's #1 free newspaper, which is our own publication here at Media Max. PD splashes that Ruto crisis as judges reject finance bill. Remember, this is what will form a better part of our conversation this morning right here on the New Dawn with my guests who have already arrived in studio. PD says court rules that changes to Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, Excise Duty Act, and Retirement Benefits Act required fresh people participation. However, according to Kimani Ichung'wah, that would mean all the laws that have been enacted since the 2010 Constitution was effective then are null and void. That is actually on page 4 of the People Daily. We'll be touching on it later. Still on the same cover page of the People Daily, date with the destiny for CS nominees. Eyes on Parliament as MPs vet individuals picked by President to join his broad-based government. That is on page 3. Remember, the vetting begins today. Page 3 of the People Daily. House panel divided on some CS nominees. Members of Parliament face an acid test as they start vetting President William Ruto's nominees to his cabinet amid the pressure from the public to show impartiality. Multiple sources confided in People Daily that MPs were considering rejecting 2 or 3 of President William Ruto's nominees with, or rather, over integrity queries as they seek to redeem their soiled image. Well, the Committee on Appointments actually was also said to be keen to assert its authority without external interference. It remains divided mainly by indications that already 3 of the members would reject the nominees. 2 Wiper Party members, that is Robert Mbui and Stephen Mule, have been directed by the party leadership not to approve 4 ODM nominees, while Saboti Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi has declared that he will vote against the nominees. Remember, Caleb Amisi has been, appointed or nominated by the ODM party pending approval by the Azimio parliamentary group to take over the PAC chair, that is the Public Accounts Committee in the National Assembly. And in the plenary, the nominees will face a similarly divided parliament. Going by the statements some of them have been making outside the House. Human rights abuses, the vetting will start this morning. Remember, we'll be televising that live with the Interior Cabinet Secretary nominee, that is Kithure Kindiki. He served the same docket, in President William Ruto's maiden cabinet before it was dismissed. The second to appear before the committee, chaired by Speaker Moses Wetangula, will be Deborah Baraza, followed by Alice Wahome, that is of Lands, Julius Ogamba, Education, and Soipan Tuya, that is in the defense docket. Kindiki will have to defend himself against allegations of human rights groups that he ordered or failed to stop the killings and abduction of protesters in the recent demonstrations in part of Kenya. The conduct of security personnel during the youth, which resulted to the killing of over 50 young people, according to human rights groups, is actually 60, and abductions, will dominate the session with the panel. Actually, his handling of also the cattle rustling in the Turkana, West Pokot, Baringo, Laikipia, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Samburu counties will also come up. So we'll be waiting to see how that will actually play out. Back to the cover page of the People Daily. More Gachagua allies grilled over protest. That is on page 5. There is an image there of the Embakasi Central Member of Parliament, Major Donk Benjamin, and as well James Gakuya, who interestingly is our guest this morning. So the Embakasi North Member of Parliament was yesterday arrested. He'll be confirming whether he was arrested or summoned at a Nairobi hotel and grilled over claims he and others financed chaos in the anti-government protest. He was picked from outside CJ's restaurant along Koinange Street and driven to the DCI headquarters for grilling. He recorded a statement. Police said they were looking for his Embakasi Central counterpart, Benjamin Mejadong, that is Gadhiru, for grilling over similar claims. The two are close allies to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So Gakuya was at a restaurant when police who had been looking for him approached him. That's according to witnesses. They requested him to accompany them outside, where they later forced him into a waiting saloon car. He was to be released. Police have been probing the aftermath of the 25th incident, where protesters raided Parliament and other government offices. Their claims some of the protesters were mobilized and facilitated to destroy property in their protests. We'll be getting his encounter with the police, if at all he was arrested or summoned. Remember, he's already in studio. Still on the cover page of the People Daily, why it'll be long wait for Gen Zs to get ID cards. Fresh delays arise out of High Court decision suspending rollout of new digital identity cards, popularly known as Maisha number, pending determination of case by rights lobby. Not sure how these will augur with the Gen Zs who have been mounting pressure on the President William Ruto-led government. Let's see what's on our other dailies. That is on the Daily Nation. 4 pilots who saved Moi's rule on the 42nd anniversary of the abortive August 1st, 1982 coup. It was, of course, such a day. We traced 4 Kenya Army helicopter gunship pilots who had a frontline role in suppressing the rebellion mounted by junior Air Force servicemen. The quartet, for the first time, speak about the dramatic events, including a successful mission to bomb Nairobi's Eastleigh Airbase during one of the Kenya's darkest moments. That was back in 1982. Still on the same cover page of the People Daily, of the Daily Nation rather, no housing levy reprieve as court quashes 2023 tax law. Remember, this is what I had highlighted. The nullification of the Finance Act 2023 yesterday presented a win-lose situation for Kenyans as it reversed some gains introduced by the laws, while quashing some punitive tax measures brought by the Kenya Kwanza administration. However, the housing levy, 1.5%, was under the Affordable Housing Bill of 2024, which was signed into law by President William Ruto, becoming the Affordable Housing Act of 2024. And so you will continue paying the 1.5% that is there. We shift gears from the Daily Nation paper to the Standard. Another Ruto tax law bites the dust. Country's finances in major crisis after judges declare Finance Act 2023, which the government was banking on after the fall of the 2024 finance bill, unconstitutional, leaving authorities with the option of appeal or reverting to Uhuru's 2022 tax laws. So the Court of Appeal's verdict has been highlighted there. Finance Act 2023 is unconstitutional. Parliament violated the law by passing finance bill without budget proposals and estimates. Housing levy dispute has been overtaken by events after the 2024 amendments. Parliament should have written reasons for all rejected or accepted proposals. And 5, High Court has powers to scrutinize government policies. This is what will form a better part of a conversation this morning. Also, on the cover page of the Standard, Azimio chiefs squeeze Raila on dalliance with Ruto. Azimio leader led by Raila Odinga after meeting of the opposition coalition summit at the SKM Command Center in Karen, that is in Nairobi. Therefore, of course, we have the image there of Jeremiah Kioni, Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi, Peter Munya, and Siaya Governor James Orengo, who attended that particular meeting. Also, more DP allies quizzed over protest role. Embaka Central Member of Parliament Benjamin Gadhiru, and actually the 7th of leaders and officials those are close to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua were questioned. So already we have one of them in studio. He'll be telling us his ordeal. And still in a newspaper review, that is from the Standard, we shift gears to the Star. Eyes on Bunge's MPs vet cabinet nominees. There is an image there of Sulpan Tuya, Kithure Kindiki, Ali Sohome, Julius Ogamba, and Dr. Deborah Baraza. They will be all vetted today. Remember, we'll televise that right here on K24, beginning today up to Sunday. You can't afford to miss that. But let's now, John, shift to still the same story, where all eyes will today be on Parliament's vetting committee, set to embark on a rigorous 4-day examination of President William Ruto's cabinet secretary nominees. This comes even as pressure mounts on the committee to reject some nominees, particularly those who were in the previous cabinet, amid allegations of incompetence. Ventura Komboka tells us more.
Today marks the lapse of submissions of public opinions on President Ruto's recent cabinet nominees, and now all eyes will be on the 20-member committee of Parliament come tomorrow to see whether it will reject some nominees deemed incompetent by the public, especially those recycled from the previous cabinet. The vetting process is commencing in the shadows of an aggressive accountability push from both political leaders and Wananchi, with some opposed to the nominations of opposition members into the cabinet.
We should not be in bed with the government, because the government must do their own specific duty of delivering all the services they promise to Kenyans. So I'm not in support of that. And if you see the kind of leaders who rushed to go there, they have no ambition, they have no vision, they have no mission.
Article 152 says, once dismissed as a state officer, you cannot be reappointed. Ye mwenyewe alitumia mdomo yake akiwa pale across the road, akasema I have dismissed, and then he went ahead and gazetted the dismissal. That alone is a reason as to why we are saying that whole process is a farce. He's wasting our time. Sometimes you wonder whether Badu was right, but now you wonder what it means, because he's also there when he says give them the skunk, and now he has already jumped into the skunk. I don't know how we will refer to him, but it is horrible what we are seeing. So the vetting, we hope the Gen Z will do their work. We are relying on Gen Z to do their vetting, not Bunge.
Already, over 15 petitions and memorandums have been filed to challenge their suitability to hold the CS officers, setting the stage for a tough and rigorous vetting process. The committee, which will include the Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Suna East Member of Parliament Janet Mohammed, will be tested on whether it will uphold transparency and accountability, even as religious leaders call for a strikeout of nominees with integrity issues.
We as a church are concerned that all Kenyans should re-examine the issue of integrity. And that must be the key also for our parliamentarians in passing the nominees, in examining whether they are fit for an office. That must be a major consideration.
The vetting schedule begins with Interior Cabinet Secretary nominee Kithure Kindiki at 8 a.m. tomorrow, followed by Deborah Mlongo, Health nominee, at 10 a.m., Alice Wahome, Lands, at 12 p.m., Megos Ogamba, Education, at 3 p.m., and Soipan Tuya, Defense nominee, at 5 p.m. The process will see at least 5 cabinet secretaries vetted each day through Sunday. On Friday, the committee will vet the nominee in the Ministry of ICT, Margaret Ndungu, Agriculture's Andrew Muhia, Water nominee Eric Muga, and notable figures Eden Duale for Environment and Davis Chirchir for the Transport docket. The vetting will continue on Saturday with nominees John Mbadi for Treasury, Salim Vuria for Trade, Rebecca Miano for Tourism, Opio Wandai for Energy, Kipchumba Murkomen for Sports. On Sunday, mining nominee Hassan Joho will kickstart the process, Alfred Mutua for Labour, Wycliffe Oparanya for MSMEs, Justin Muturi for Public Service, and Stella Soy for the Gender docket. After the vetting process, the committee will compile a report on each of the nominees, a report which will then be tabled in the House for debate. Parliament will have 28 days to dispense the matter, and approve or disapprove the nominees will be forwarded to the President for appointment. Ventura Komboka, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Well, and as promised, already my guests are in studio. I'm joined by Honorable James Gakuya, who is the Embakasi North Member of Parliament and as well the Chair of the Trade Committee of the National Assembly. As well, Dr. Maina Kamau, seated right in the middle. He is an economist. And Honorable Nabi Nabwera, Lugari Member of Parliament, and a member of the Public Accounts Committee, that is PAC, in the National Assembly. Remember, today we'll be focusing on the grim economic outlook, but before that, we begin with the newspaper review. But before, okay, still on the same breath of the newspaper review, On the People Daily, there is an image there that has been captured of the Embakasi Central Member of Parliament, Benjamin Major Dong, and as well, Embakasi North Member of Parliament, Honorable James Gakuya. More Gachagua allies grilled over protest. Honorable James Gakuya, we were worried if you were to join us this morning. Reports were there that you were arrested. Have you just been released?
But in fact, I am shocked to hear what the People Daily paper has written, because to me there was no any single arrest. I was not even in any contact with police at any single hotel. Me, I was just given a normal text to appear to DCI, and that's what I did, and I appeared personally. So there was nothing to do with the arrest.
For how long was the grilling? I'm told it was from 2 p.m. to around 8 p.m.
The grill only took 2 hours. It's only 2 hours. The rest of the time, we were there pushing and pull, because the DCI indicated that we must leave behind our phones, or else we sleep in cells. And we said we cannot be blackmailed. We can't leave our phones back. How? The phones are our private entities. And then we stayed there, and we were stayed up to that time just fighting for for that particular justice. Otherwise, there was nothing like arrest, but I was there with the Major Dong, and they made their case, and we also booked our statements to what we know and where we were during that particular day.
You've now joined the list of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's allies who have appeared before the DCI. What's happening, Honorable Gakuya? Were you part of the alleged sponsors of the Gen Z demos?
One, and what the investigator should do is to put facts on the table. If one is suspecting you, he must be having evidence on the acts you took to such a particular date and put them on the table. But these guys were grey, they had nothing. They are just asking you what you know. And what I know is what I saw. I was in Parliament, and I was in chamber during the 25th day. And I explained to them how it was. And I was attacked by the Gen Z in the compound of the Parliament like any other member. And that is only what I know. The rest is just a gimmick. But you should also know that actually, as we speak, there is a very serious battle between the NIS boss and the Deputy President. They have their own battle. And their battles cannot be transferred to those allies of anybody, because they should fight their own battle. And what we are seeing of late is what we can say is witch hunt, and total witch hunt. But what I can say is that even though we want to witch hunt somebody, put the facts on the table, put evidences on the table. If you are sure that I was part of the mobilizers, just indicate who and who has recorded a statement to ascertain that I mobilized him or she. If I funded anybody, just indicate to whom. But you cannot just tell me from the sky that you are part of it and there's nothing you are putting on the table.
So you believe this is witch hunt?
It is total witch hunt. And why basically has it been circled to those allies of Deputy President? This is a pure and clear witch hunt. And let me tell you, if you are witch hunting the Deputy President, go to him direct. Don't go through the other dogs.
Perhaps that's why there is a motion that is set to be tabled for impeachment.
Of course, the motion is there and it intended. This is the creation that actually they are trying to look for how they can be able to phrase the impeachment. There's nothing beyond that. And it's obvious. And this is history repeating itself. We had been this matter during more time, and it has just recouped. Yes, so you don't expect anything short of that. This is the route that actually took Dr. Kalanja. This is the battles that Kibaki during their vice president tenure, they fought, and anybody else. So and as we speak, we are now on a larger parliament where we are doing this purposely to soldier numbers enough to defeat.
Do you fear Gachagua could lose his seat? You know, with the ODM
I can tell you,
believed to be part of
one,
the government.
you must wait for anything. And where a Kikuyu proverb says, where actually it bats is where it circles. So in this particular case, utanyonyesha mahali itazalia, and there's no shot because nobody will leave this country because of anything that will come. Even though it comes to us, we shall face the impeachment to the floor of the House. That is it. And that's how we are going to move it. Anybody who is ready to bring it, bring it. Yes. Don't keep listening people. Happen. And we cannot keep threatened because we are elected by people like anybody else. And we have a right to serve the people of Kenya. Gachagua has a right. He was constitutionally elected. Yes. And if you think that you must eliminate Gachagua from power, and this is a machination done by the men and women from central Kenya, it's not emanating from anywhere else. So the enemies of Gachagua are the central region members and nobody else. Well, but I can tell you, they are just getting in the trap of the master, which is okay.
Who's the master?
Master is their master.
At that breath, we'll take a short commercial break. When we come back, I'll be getting the views of Honorable Nabina Abwera and as well an economist, Dr. Kamau, who is already in studio. We'll take a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. And people come in and they're like, oh, it works. I can have ice cream and I'm not in any discomfort. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
DJ Blackie, K24 TV Mix Master. Like a boss.
Yo, when it comes to playing the best music videos, we've got you covered. Check this